Hello, I'm Jeffrey and welcome to FMN News. Today we have a guest star from the 1800s, and he is here to talk about his life. Please welcome Andrew Jackson.
Hi, in the early days of my life voting was very limited. Only property owners could vote. But in Kentucky and Tennessee property owners and white men could vote. And African Americans couldn't vote either.
Did they ever change that rule?
Yes, finally we could vote. You didn't have to be wealthy or have to own property. After that there was a change in people elected.
Now tell me about your election.
Well, I was elected the 7th President of the United States on March 4, 1829. Thousands came to my inauguration.
Tell me about your presidency.
Well, I was still stubborn and tough. I was known as Jackson Democracy. I didn't think the wealthy should control, so they didn't like me.
Well, tell me something about your younger life.
Well, I was born in South Carolina. I had a very poor family. I lived in a log cabin, and I toughed myself all. Then I became a lawyer.
Now I researched somewhere that you were in the military. Tell me about that.
Yes, I was in the military. I was a very hard worker. There I got the nickname Old Hickory. In 1812 I was a general during the war. We also beat the British, and then I became a national hero.
Tell me about the banks.
I believed the banks were too powerful. They controlled 1/5 of banknotes. So I argued with them. In my eye it was the Hydra of corruption. It was a many-headed monster from Greek mythology.
Now tell me about the Indian removal and your toughness about it.
To me it meant harsh treatment. In 1830 Congress passed Indian Removal Act. That meant all Indians had to leave Mississippi.
So tell me about the war.
Many tribes refused the act. So the tribes made war. It was led by Chief Black Hawk. It was called the Black Hawk War.
What about the Cherokees?
The Cherokee tribe was led by Chief John Ross. They chose to fight for their homeland.
When was the treaty signed?
Well, the treaty was signed in 1791. The government recognized the Cherokees' independence. In 1828 Georgia said Cherokees had no effects.
I heard the Cherokees had a case.
Yeah, the Cherokees went to the Supreme Court. The Chief Justice gave the court's ruling. He said Georgia had no say over the Cherokees' lands.
Now finally tell me about the journey that you had to leave.
This may sound sad to you, but the troops forced us to leave, and we traveled more than 800 miles away. During our journey more than 4,000 Cherokees died of the cold, disease, or hunger. Once we reached our destiny we called our journey trail where they cried.
Wow, what a great life and a good story. Thank you for coming.
Well, thank you for having me.
We'll see you next time on FMN News.